another week with you here, Dr. Mirelis, Dr. Mimi, to talk about happy brain, happy life. How are you today? I am excited to share with you another week more topics related to improving the way we think, feel, and act. Isn't that great? And so today we're going to talk about neurotransmitters. Boom, a big science word. Although so many people mention it, neurotransmitters are actually our neuron messengers. I call it little messengers or little gossipers, let's put it like that, because they are the neurochemicals that actually help us connect the information between and among neurons. That means that the neurotransmitters are essential to how we think, feel, and act. And so, as I have mentioned in previous lessons before, one of the things that we need to accomplish in brain health is an equilibrium, a balance between those neurotransmitters. And so, how about we get started today, right? So, let me tell you a little bit more about these neurotransmitters. They are essential in maintaining our brain health. And the reason for that is because without that equilibrium, we really can have an impact on our brain health, especially our emotional health. So, that means the neurotransmitter equilibrium is related to either we feel happy, sad, are we on a depressed mood, are we experiencing anxiety, are we experiencing hyperactiveness, am I experiencing even delusions. So our neurotransmitters are key to how our brain health is working. Understand though that we can be super responsible of how our neurotransmitters are working, and sometimes it is simple things that we can change to make them work for us, to make them work with us, and so we are able to live a better, happier life. And that's why a happy brain equals a happy life. Now, let me tell you something about neurotransmitters. Let's talk about them as the chemicals of your brain. Okay, it's a big word, big name, but what it really means is diverse, different neurochemicals in the brain. Now, research has not been able to be super extensive about how many neurotransmitters we have, but we certainly know enough about some of them that are key to some of our affective or emotional responses. So, for example, we might have serotonin, which is related to people who might be experiencing depressed mood or even anxiety symptoms. And we also have another one called dopamine, right? And dopamine is very responsible for the people who feel or act very hyperactive, inattentive, can't concentrate, difficulty focusing in only one task. And nowadays many of us adults talk about, oh, I have the famous ADHD, attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. Well, what it really means is that we might have an unbalance or imbalance between our dopamine levels. And so it is important for us to understand that, for example, even Parkinson's disease is impacted by dopamine levels as well. So neurotransmitters are essential, and we can be responsible in bringing them back to my famous word, homeostasis. Now, next week, I'll continue to talk about a little bit more deeper, or a deeper dive into homeostasis. But homeostasis in general is that equilibrium, finding that common ground where you will feel good, focused, functioning at your best, while removing and moving away from the symptoms that might be making you feel sad or anxious or jittery or and unable to focus, right, and have mental clarity. So all neurotransmitters have a particular function, and they are all necessary. We certainly might need something like adrenaline in a very, alert moment where our amygdala just says, whew, we gotta run out of here. We gotta really escape from danger. So we do need our neurotransmitters in a good equilibrium so that when we need them for an emergency, they are there, yes, responding in the proper way. However, because our system is such a patterned system, it does learn to liberate or release neurotransmitters, let's say, connected to what our previous experiences are. What that means is that we can create patterns of repetitive release of chemicals because of um, what we have been accustomed to do. So let's say that, yes, we probably went through a bereavement process. We lost someone we love. We certainly have the normal nature of our emotions, feeling like we are sad, right? We want to cry. We feel lonely. We feel, and those emotions are perfectly normal when we have experienced such an event. However, when those emotions are not able to pull out from that pattern and they get stuck, what that means is they keep on getting released and released and repetitively released, then they become a longer term pattern. And that's when it becomes a diagnosis, right? That's when we become, those patterns become so consistent that they are on a need to be transformed and changed around. Now, the good news is that they can be transformed and it can be changed. And those patterns do not have to stay the same forever. If you have experienced depression, if you have experienced anxiety or you're experiencing anxiety, if you have experienced or are experiencing ADHD or any of the symptoms, the good thing is that there is plenty that we can do to change and balance out and create a better equilibrium of these chemicals. And there are plenty of ways of doing it naturally. And there are also plenty of ways of doing it with the help of medication. And that is why this is so fantastic, right? Because we can achieve brain health, and we want you to understand, right? I want you to understand that you don't have to be the brain that you have right now, that you might have had past, difficulties, but that the more you learn about your brain, I tell you, the more you're going to be able to take action in recovering what is yours, a happy brain with a happy life. So, one of the things that helps our neurotransmitters the most, and is the number one, guys, listen to this. Listen, please. Listen, because you could have in your hands the easiest, most important resource for your brain right now, today, in this moment, is exercise. Yes, understand me. Even forced exercise, okay, helps your brain bring equilibrium to your neurotransmitters. This is why whenever I am giving a conference, I am giving a chat, I am doing a workshop, one of the things that I will make you do is move around, okay? Is move your body. Your body, and true exercise, true, oxygenation of the brain, and creating muscle movement, which is another key to it, not just simple exercise, but creating muscle movement activates the thinking parts of the brain and provoke the release of the neurotransmitters that we need to lower depressive symptoms, to improve anxiety symptoms, but also to calm down that amygdala so that we are able to have an equilibrium. We're able to focus, think better, remember better, and be way more energized. So, the number one helper of our neurotransmitters is activity, physical activity. Now, I don't know if you are like me. I do not like the gym. This is my confession to you today. I do not love the gym, but I love movement. And so I, for example, love dancing. My go-tos are dancing. They are obviously, you know, if you know me already, you know that will be horseback riding. And my third one is swimming. All of these three just put my brain in the best possible mood and energized level that you can think of. Those are my three. Today, your homework is to find your three, because I need you to be in a position where you are able to take action immediately. As soon as you start recognizing that you are not feeling at your best, I need you to make a halt and take at least that first minute of moving action. Everywhere I go, anywhere that somebody puts me to talk, I will put you to work. I will put you to move your body, because that's going to get your blood flowing, it's going to get your brain focused, and you're going to be able to even think of me and remember what I'm saying. So right now, if you're listening to me and you're sitting down, you see how much I move around. My body always loves to move, but I recommend you get up, you stand up, you look at me, yes, you listen, but move around, walk where you are, find something to lift up. I didn't plan this, but I actually use this 2 pound balls that I keep with me, and I constantly do exercises with them or keep them at a movement. I actually use them for a lot of corporate training, and I recommend corporate teams and groups to have them even at your desk, having it available, because the more we activate our muscles while we're trying to produce thought, our thinking brain gets activated, and then the levels of serotonin are increased, the level of dopamine is balanced out and increased, and you start feeling better and more focused and energized. Won't you want that? Yeah, anybody out there? So give me a thumbs up, give me, yes, give me a this makes sense to me comment, because we really want to make a change in your life. And I know that brain health is one of those keys to helping you get to a point where then you're able to change your thoughts and change your emotions. But you have to start by understanding your brain, because it's only you, the one that can take the actions to improve it. Nobody can really improve it from the outside to you. You have to make those decisions to moving forward. Another great resource for our brain and an immediate release and balancing of our neurotransmitters is hydrating our brain. The more we hydrate, the better, all those neurochemicals become a balance. I call it a flush out. I know it doesn't sound very nice or clean or simple, but honestly, I love giving examples, and this is not the prettiest one I give, but let me tell you something. When we are able to flush a dirty toilet out, what do we put in? We put in more water. We pull on a little lever, right? And we make a thrush of water come in to clean whatever was dirty. That is exactly what water does into our bodies. Hydration really helps, and obviously always consult with your doctor. I am not substituting the recommendations given to you by your doctor, but let me tell you that our brain cells and our cells of our body are composed of 75% liquid water. Okay, water. And so we do need to rehydrate. We do need to put in our system what is going to help those chemicals become way more balanced, and it does help. Actually, breathing exercises, we have talked about them, and I gave some examples of those breathing exercises in the previous lesson, so pay attention to those. And last but not least, think about what you are consuming. Think about what is it that you're giving your body. Are you giving it the appropriate nutrients, the correct amino acids, the vitamins and minerals that are essential for us to keeping consistent, healthy levels? Let me tell you an example. I'm consuming foods that contain tryptophan, right, an amino acid that helps produce serotonin. It's an option, right? Or tyrosine, an amino acid that helps produce dopamine. Can help your brain function. Those, we today we have so much information that can actually really help us be in a position where it doesn't matter where you are at now. It does not have to be where you are going to be next. And this is what we want you to understand. Our life experiences trigger those neurotransmitters. And I want you to think what life experiences are triggering your neurotransmitters today. Think about it for a second. Think about, what makes your affective your emotions change throughout the day. What makes you laugh throughout the day? What makes you be sad throughout the day or even mad throughout the day? Think about those things and bring them to consciousness, because those are the things that are impacting from the environment, are impacting how your neurotransmitters are learning patterns to respond. And you're going to notice, and you say, well, how do I notice that, right? How do I take from my environment something that is changing my emotion? Well, think about it. I can tell you one that just happened to me today. We have two beautiful goats. They are the cutest little things. They are dwarf goats, so that means they're little, they're small, but they can be quite interesting in the morning, especially when you come with food, because they will not stop down. They want to put those paws on top of you, and they will not let you walk one step forward. And you know what? I totally know that, and I still walk in there like they're not going to do it. Can you believe that? And I remember this morning coming up, we had already given them hay, grain, and I wanted to give them hay for the day. And I'm walking in with the hay, and I have to put the hay in a bag, but they're totally jumping on me, like on top of me to try to get to the hay. And so I can't move forward. And all of a sudden, like my emotions got like, "Rah," you know, and I could totally see it. My heart rate started pounding. I started getting upset. And I realized that I could have prevented all of that response from my body if I would have consciously thought about what my interactions with the goats were going to be. And it sounds silly because I'm talking to you today about goats, but it is exactly the same when we're dealing with our kids, when we're dealing with with our partner, when we're dealing with our boss or our employees. What are we already expecting? How are we preparing our brain, our body towards that experience? You see, for my husband, it was a total different experience because he loves being around the goats, and he loves being among the goats, and he loves them just kind of jumping on him, and that's their way of saying hi. And so for him, his expectation of that process was totally different. So I can guarantee you that for him, it is a higher serotonin, higher endorphins, higher dopamine levels. And for me at that moment was like, no way, Jose, I don't want them on me this morning. So becoming conscious of how your neurotransmitters, result out of your daily experiences is an amazing way of becoming conscious on how you can change your neurotransmitters. And so I became conscious in a second because I have been doing so many exercises about consciousness, about my brain health. I immediately took a chance at taking a deep breath, remembering what I could have done different, starting to do what I should have done differently, fixing the problem, and then moving forward from it and bringing myself back down to, yes, this is okay. I could have handled this totally different. And I am training and teaching my brain to release the different chemicals, right? In the next opportunity. So it is important for us to understand how they work on us, what triggers you, what climbs those chemicals for you and what brings them down? Is it interaction with something or someone? Is it, when you get to work and maybe you are tired of being in the same position and you feel already bored? Is because those neurotransmitter levels are changing throughout the day for you. So think about what activates them for you and think of very small, short activities that will bring those back up. Typically, something that will get you moving, something that will activate your muscles. It's it's one of those activities that will rise up the serotonin, endorphins, and dopamine levels to something that is going to help you be way happier because a happy brain equals a happy life, right, guys? So I hope you have learned something today. I hope that you do take action today in getting conscious about your brain health and start taking action into, okay, what can I do today to be more conscious about my neurotransmitters and which ones might be triggering up or down and how to balance those out to create homeostasis. I look forward to your comments and I also look forward to your questions as I want to be able to talk about what topics about brain health interest you. So I hope to see you next week and hope you have enjoyed. Please click like and share with others as you have learned from this already. Have a great one. Take care. Bye bye.